Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, FourEyedMonster Miniatures, where I'll share with you either ongoing progress on my custom painted scale projects or straight out of the box reviews of pre-painted figures of anime characters. In this video, we'll be looking at the latter, in which I'll be adding a unique line of pre-painted figures that will be new specifically to my collection. What I'm referring to is the budget-friendly lower tier crane price figures produced by Kato that revolves around an aquatic theme, namely the Aqua float girls, whose review I'll start off with Kato Megumi from Saekano, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend, light novel series that has also received both an anime as well as manga adaptations. Because I had only ever seen an Aqua float girl from online images, I was caught off guard by the small size of the box, which measured roughly about 13 by 10 by 17 centimeters in length, width and height, which in turn hints at a smaller than average size pre-painted figure, at least in relation to my own collection. An image of the Kato Megumi figure in a bikini, seated on a round pool float and posed against a beach backdrop, make up the front box art for the main heroine from Saekano. Other sides show Megumi at various close-up levels, accompanied by either the Aqua Float Girls logo in different font types, or the logo of the Saekano anime series, as is seen here in the bottom right corner of the box. Now that you have seen the box art, let's proceed to the unboxing ASMR, which you can skip using the timestamp I've provided. This Taito Aqua Float Girls pre-painted figure of Kato Megumi from Saekano comes in a set comprising 3 separate sections: a support base, a swim ring, and the figure itself. In spite of her relatively small size, this depiction of Megumi in a black and white striped bikini and pink sunglasses bears a strong likeness to her anime counterpart. Also, due to her size, I wasn't too surprised to see a lack of skin tone shading. My experience as a miniature painter has shown that the smaller a figure, the harder it is to apply effective skin tone shading. As such, it will be more cost-effective to forego skin tone shading in Megumi's case. Megumi did, however, have blushes painted on her cheeks. Unsurprisingly, this lack of skin tone shading extended to unpainted nails. How small is this Megumi figurine? As a rough estimate, she measures about 12.5 centimeters when measured from her toes to the back of her head in a straight line. Of course, this is not a measurement that truly reflects the figure's height due to her pose. Nonetheless, it does give you an idea or a rough estimate of her size. Both Megumi and the swim room she rests upon is supported by a base that's designed to look like a swirling mass of water, in keeping with the overall beach or pool theme. Meanwhile, the swim ring itself is a plastic replica of the real thing. The bottom side is in salmon pink, while the upper side is in light rose pink, with the name of the company Megumi is working in, namely Blessing Software, printed on its side. Let's now see how it all looks when combined together. There isn't really any assembly per se that's needed for this Aqua Float Girls figure set of Kato Megumi from the Saekano series, as it's more of a stacking process, with the blue space at the bottom and the pink swim ring sandwiched between that and Megumi herself, who rests atop the swim float ring, like so. It's a simple and easy to do process, but more importantly, the end result looks good on the display shelf, with the caveat that care should be taken when handling the figure set, because all three sections aren't securely attached to one another. That being said, the entire figure set is stable enough without any wobbling evident. Once they are stacked together and placed on any flat surface, like on the table you see here or on the display shelf. Let's now check out how Aqua Float Girl Kato Megumi looks, all stacked up in a full 360-degree view. For someone like me who is new to the Aqua Float Girls line of pre-painted crane prize figures, this bikini version of Kato Megumi is a welcome breath of fresh air that injects a sorely needed depth and variety to my personal figure collection. This Taito figure's relaxed beach/pool vibe brings a nice contrast to the myriad of poses currently exhibited by other figures in my collection, which comprise largely of simple standing poses, due to the majority of them being budget-friendly lower-tier figures. Adding the Aqua Float Girls to the collection is part of my ongoing effort to liven up my display with different poses whenever possible, and within the constraints of your average budgetary limits. Because of the nature of Megumi's pose, it's best, in my opinion, to display her somewhere between below eye level and above the navel, so that you are seeing her with a slight downwards tilt of the head for the best viewing angle, in my opinion. And in keeping with the beach/pool theme, attire and accessory details are kept to a bare minimum of a two-piece swimsuit and a pair of sunglasses respectively. This focuses attention on Megumi's near bare skin body posture and her corresponding skin tones, as well as her facial details and hairstyle both in sculpt and paintwork. And in this regard, this budget tier crane prize figure definitely punches above its weight, with a good character likeness factor and a simplistic yet alluring pose, held back mainly by the lack of skin tone shading save for her blushes as well as her unpainted nails. While Megumi's hairstyle was accurately sculpted, it, like the skin tone, also looks flat, sans any shading or highlights. Notwithstanding what seems like my preoccupation with the generally flat hues arising from the lack of skin tone shading that's only noticeable because exposed skin covers the majority of the figure's surface area, let me just reiterate, I still nonetheless feel that this pre-painted Aqua Float Girls figurine of Kato Megumi is offering collectors a unique selling point that arguably exceeds what its price point suggests. Putting aside my gripes about the lack of skin tone shading, this pre-painted figure of the main female protagonist from the Saekano How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend romantic comedy series actually has a simplistic yet evergreen concept of swimwear-clad characters that is brilliantly executed within the limitations of what is essentially a budget piece. The way I see it, the Taito Aqua Float Girls lineup provides collectors, especially ones on a small hobby budget, with the means to diversify the overall aesthetics of their figure collection display. This particular version of Kato Megumi in a two-piece swimsuit atop a float gets a rating of Platinum or B rank, as I feel it's a solid offering from Taito that does its best given the subject matter it has to work with. Now, what I mean by that is the nature of Kato Megumi's persona, which can be characterized as having an outwardly plain, quiet and unassuming demeanor to the point of being boring. This translates well to her minimalistic short hairstyle and her simple and unremarkable pose atop the float, partly balanced by nice details such as the well-defined stripes and bow knots on her bikini, as well as oversized sunglasses. But the overall minimalist look to Kato Megumi, while accurate to the subject matter, does however contribute to the figure not being a standout version of the Aqua float girls, hence the rating I gave her. Yet make no mistake that this pre-painted figure of Kato Megumi is a worthy addition to a figure collection, especially if you are a Saekano fan. If you aren't a fan, then for sure there are better swimsuit figurines to be had if you want one in your collection. With that, we've come to the end of this week's Bishoujo figure unboxing and review video. I'll have more Aqua float girls to show you in the coming weeks, all also characters from the Saekano series, so please stay tuned for that. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe for more content from me. Until we meet again, be well, be happy. Bye.